What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for PlayPicks.com and TheLines.com. Going to talk to you a little bit about Monday Night Football between the Lions and the Packers. Before we get going here, guys, please hit that subscribe button here on the channel. Hit the like button on this video and let us know in the comments how you're going to play this game, whether you like a side, a total, a player prop, whatever it might be. Hell, if you're taking a pass, let us know about that as well. Certainly want to keep up the dialogue with everyone watching these videos. Appreciate you guys helping us grow this channel, really do. Everything's free. TheLines.com is free. PlayPicks is free. Everything you want to find, obviously, here on this channel is free. So your support really does help a ton here. Not going to jump up and down about, this is the pick of the year or anything like that. This is a game that will break down from top to bottom here. Hopefully can get you to where you want to be to make a bet here. Maybe it will solidify how you were leaning one way or the other. Maybe it'll make you decide you don't want to play this game after all. Whatever it is, just want to give you some really good information about all the stuff that's going on here. This is, of course, the Lines.com Monday Night Football page. Just head over to odds and head over to NFL, hit MNF, and then you'll be taken to this page right here. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this game here, and let's look at the lines where we sit right now. This is over at DraftKings, sitting at 3.5, 45.5, 195 on the money line, 165 for the Lions. If you want to take that over here, over on FanDuel, 3.5 as well, 180, 156 on the money line here, sitting at 45. One of the things you can do, guys, if you want to, here on the stats, you can click this little stats thing at DraftKings Sportsbook, and then whenever you click betting trends, you can at least go track how this odds, if you ever have any idea about, you want to figure out how this spread has changed, the total's changed, wherever it might want to be, it actually shows you. So you just click the little stats thing, betting trends, and so here you can see this thing opened up at 5.5 and has worked its way kind of all around, 5, 4.5, got to 3.5, and then was bet back to 4.5, and then back to where we are at 3.5 as we sit right here. So you can see this thing's toggled for the last week pretty good here. The total opens at 46.5, gets as high as 47, but that's it. You can see it's kind of toggled between where it is now in 47 and then all the way down to 45 and then 45.5 where we sit right now. So that's how the historical have been on this line right here, at least over at DraftKings. Now, if we want to take a look, of course, this game's taking place in Green Bay. So if we want to take a look at the weather, I know this is something a lot of people start to look at as we move a little further into the season. We're not quite there yet with the weather in Green Bay. That being said, it is going to be in the low 40s. So, it's going to be cold. Certainly cold for me. I live in Las Vegas, but cold regardless. It's going to be no wind, no rain, no snow, any of that stuff. However, but it'll just be, it'll just be cold. It won't be like playing in the dome if you're the Lions. All right, Lions coming off of their bye week. They're 2-1-1 overall, 1-0-1 on the road, 3-1 against the spread. Last time we saw them, they were fighting hard against that Chiefs team, if you remember. I know it was 2 weeks ago, but they were fighting hard against that Chiefs team. Ultimately lost that one 34-30, but they did cover the game, and they were fighting pretty good in that game as well. The Packers 4-1 overall, 2-1 at home, 4-1 against the spread, coming off a 10-point win over the Cowboys at the Cowboys in Arlington over there. Despite the Cowboys kind of winning the box score in that game, if you go back and you look at it, the Cowboys really won the statistics. They just did not win the game in that one. Let you know how that Packers defense kind of, bend, don't break type situation here. As far as injuries go, and I will scroll down here if you want to read along. For the Lions, corner Darius Slay, safety Quandre Diggs, defensive lineman Alshon Robinson, and defensive lineman Deshaun Hand, all questionable. They are going to get tight end TJ Hawkinson back. He cleared concussion protocol, so he'll be back for the Lions team. On the Chargers side here, on the Lions side here, it's going to be Devontae Adams is going to be out again for the Packers, and then safety Darnell Savage is also going to be out in this thing. So Devontae Adams, probably not a real question mark here that he was going to be out. If you listen to him talk, he said that this toe was really bothering him. So, even with the extra week, going to sit out this week, hopefully he can get back in there sooner as opposed to later, but is not going to be in there this week. We'll scroll a little bit more for you here. Lions offense, averaging 24.3 points per game, averaging 401 yards per game, 5.7 yards per play. They're passing on about 54.6% of play. So they're pretty close to that 50-50 split here between run pass and their offense. 25th graded pass blocking unit according to Pro Football Focus. So not all that great there as far as pass blocking, but the 5th best run blocking unit according to Pro Football Focus. So really, really block well for Kerryon Johnson in the run game, but not so great for Matt Stafford in the passing game. They are converting 38.1% of their third downs. On the Packers side of things here, averaging 23.8 points per game, 354.4 yards per game, 5.3 yards per play. They pass on about 59.9% of their plays, so they're kind of that 60-40 split between pass and run. 13th best pass blocking unit according to Pro Football Focus, 22nd best run blocking unit according to Pro Football Focus. They are converting just 30.5% of their third downs. That is in the bottom 5 of the league for the Packers so far this year on offense. If you're looking at pace in this game, how this thing might play out, Detroit 12th in seconds per play, running a play about every 27.7 seconds. Green Bay's 26th, running a play about every 29.2 seconds. But if you look, if Detroit's up here at 12th and Green Bay's down here at 26th, you meet in the middle, kind of it's about neutral, right? No, not pace up, not pace down. Anything like that in this game here. On the defensive side of the ball, Lions averaging allowing 23.8 points per game, 418.5 yards per game, 18th rated defense overall by Pro Football Focus, 23rd rated pass rush by Pro Football Focus, 13th rated coverage grade. So you can see bottom half of the league in total defense, 23rd in pass rush, which is bottom third there of the league, and then 13th rated coverage grade here. All of that bodes pretty well for Aaron Rodgers. 12th ranked defense DVOA, 12th ranked pass defense DVOA, and 14th ranked rush defense DVOA. So kind of middle of the pack there on the DVOA side of things as to how they kind of look at this Lions defense here. On the Packers side of the ball, their defense, as you know, you've been watching this team play, they've been playing really, really well. I mean, just much better than anyone could have expected for this Packers team. Allowing 18.6 points per game, 397 yards per game given up. 14th rated defense according to Pro Football Focus overall defense here. Look, Preston Smith has got 5.5 sacks on the year for this team. Zadarius Smith has 5 sacks for this team. They ranked 9th overall in quarterback pressure as well. Defense really, really getting after the quarterback. 9th ranked defense overall DVOA. They are 5th ranked pass defense DVOA and 28th ranked defense, rush defense DVOA. So you can see right here, pass rush really good, pass defense really good, getting to the quarterback with pressure and sacks, but rush defense is where the Achilles heel is on this Packers team here, giving up over 138 yards a game on the ground. All right, so let's make a case for the under in this game if we want to go ahead and play the under here. So if we wanted to play the under, we would bet that over here at DraftKings because we're getting the extra half point. So we would head over here and let's make a case for the under if we're looking in that direction. Yeah, it's a team coming off a bye in the Lions, but are we really upgrading this Lions team all that much when you consider they weren't really nicked up? So it's not like they're getting back any key components to this team because of that bye. I mean, all the guys I mentioned that are still questionable here that still might not play in this game. They did get back TJ Hawkinson, which is pretty good, but also not even just from the fatigue factor here, but a lot of times we talk about, oh, you have 2 weeks to prepare for a team. I don't really think that Matt Patricia is all that sharp. And so I don't know if him getting the extra week to prepare for this game is really all that big of a advantage for them, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, in the short sample size that we've gotten to Matt Patricia, I just don't think he's all that great of an NFL coach right now. I think he's middle of the pack to bottom tier, if we're being perfectly honest here. Another case for the under here could just be that there's no Devontae Adams. I mean, we know how important this team he is to the Packers team, especially in the red zone. I mean, he has the most red zone targets and for this team, and he's missed a game. Just to let you know, how often Rodgers was looking for him in the red zone. He still leads the team in red zone targets, and he's already missed a game for this team. Both quarterbacks are pretty good at taking care of the ball as well. Aaron Rodgers never throws interceptions, and then actually Matt Stafford's been really good protecting the ball as well so far this year. So Probably not going to get any of those little short fields where you get those cheap touchdowns or any defensive scores, pick sixes and stuff like that. So that's another way to kind of keep this thing under, because that's an under killer, right? Defense and special team scores are under killers. And, a very, very minor thing here, but at least it is a dome team moving outdoors in kind of the first cold game of the year. I know some of you are going to laugh, some of you that are located in the North or Midwest, saying cold game being in the low 40s, high 30s, but, still cold. It's cold. It's not brutal cold. It's not brutal cold, and it's certainly not like, Lambeau Field cold that we're used to, but it's cold. It's colder than a dome game, that's for sure. Let's make a case for the over here. And if we were going to play the over, we would have it at FanDuel, because we're going to not have to worry about that pesky half a point here. So the over of 45 in this one. So this is just a nugget here just to kind of paint a picture of these teams overall so far this year. The last 3 Packers games have gone over, last 2 Lions games, and 3 of 4 total Lions games have gone over, which, again, that just is shows that a couple of good offenses here that are able to score, but also defenses that are also kind of giving up points as well. Packers are excellent in the red zone as well, so they're not wasting opportunities when they get down there. They're scoring a TD at the touchdown in the red zone at the 5th highest percentage in the league. Lions are still middle of the pack, so it's not like they're bad at it either here. So both of these teams not really squandering these trips to the red zone, which are, certainly help keep these games under. If you're looking for the over, whenever they get down there inside the 20-yard line, you want these teams to punch it in. And both of these teams have been, especially the Packers, have been really good at it. And again, the Lions are better than about half the league at it as well. Another reason this thing could lean to the over here, if you want to play that. I mean, listen, there is some pretty significant home road splits for Aaron Rodgers and this Packers team. I mean, Aaron Rodgers there's a big enough sample size here. This isn't just complete noise. Aaron Rodgers has been in the league long enough here where you can compare his stats and how many points this team scores at home as compared to on the road, and some pretty drastic home road splits where they play much, much better at home at Lambeau here. Another reason this thing could go over is the Lions just give up a ton of yards. As we mentioned, 418 yards a game that this defense is giving up. And, now here comes Aaron Rodgers rolling into town. Sure, he's without Davante Adams, but they're still capable receivers on this team for sure. And we've seen Aaron Jones show out, and Jamal Williams is going to be back as well in the backfield for them there. And look, both of these run defenses are towards the bottom of the league as well. And you're saying, wait a minute, how could this help get the over? Well, they can keep moving the ball, and it helps moving the chains, and they can keep these possessions going. When you get into these, third and shorts, you're not getting off the field all the time. You're converting these third downs. Both of these run defenses are going to be so bad. Whenever you look, the Packers are giving up 5.2 yards a carry so far this year. And you're like, oh man, that's terrible. And then you look at the Lions, who are giving up 4.8 yards per carry. So both of these teams really, really giving it up on the ground. Probably look for Kerryon Johnson and Aaron Jones to have some pretty nice days as well. All right, so let's look at some player props here. And I want to see what the number is over here before I head back over to DraftKings. If they have a prop here, I was trying to find receiving yards for Aaron Jones. Here we go. So 30.5 over here at FanDuel. And then if we go to the player props, we'll look at receiving yards over here for these guys as well. Receiving yards, Aaron Jones. Okay, it's 30.5 at both books. You're paying 130 juice to the over at DraftKings. You're paying 118 juice to the over at FanDuel. So you'd want to go over here and hit it up over at FanDuel. But if you look at this, the Lions are 31st in the league in receiving yards allowed to running backs. This line is set at 30.5. 5 different running backs have gotten to this threshold so far this year, have gotten to 31 yards receiving against this Lions team. And then you look at and then you factor in here that Davante Adams is not going to be there for the Packers as well. That can only help him, maybe get an extra look or two here in the pass game because Davante Adams isn't going to be around. Really like the over of the 30.5 in this one for sure. And then if we look at rushing yards, Kerryon Johnson is set at 70 over here, and then set at, we'll see the rushing yards. Set at 70.5 over here as well. All right. So either way, you're going to get 70.5 and they're juiced to the exact same. So whichever site you want to play it at. Look, we talked about this Packers team, the way that you go about it, and we have to assume rational coaching for this one to get there. And so there you are taking a leap of faith that the Lions coaching staff is going to go about this the right way. But 28th in the league in rush defense when you look at this Packers team. They're giving up over 138 yards per game on the ground. And Kerryon Johnson is really the only guy in town there. He's really kind of become the bell cow back for this Lions team. So a team that's giving up 138 yards a game on the ground, and you need 71 to hit the over here for a bell cow back that really doesn't give up a lot of touches these days to anyone else. It's not one of these kind of running back by committee situations where it's hard for us to get there because, hey, maybe this guy, maybe he's getting, 10 touches siphoned off, 10, 12 carries siphoned off per game because they got 2 or 3 different guys that they use. That's not really the case here for the Lions anymore. And so for me, I'm probably a small one on this, but I still lean to the over here on Kerryon Johnson, assuming rational coaching, assuming the Lions coaching staff will look at the obvious glaring hole in this Packers defense is the rush defense. And so they would use Kerryon Johnson here. So just a thought here. Again, we're taking a leap of faith here that we're going to get rational coaching. And we've seen in the NFL so far this year that making that assumption is not always great. All right, let's look at the side and total here and how we're going to go about this. When this thing was up a little bit further, I probably would have leaned to the Lions here. Now that it's kind of settled where it has settled, I don't really have a strong feeling one way or the other on the actual side here. If this thing were to get to 3 flat, you could probably see me jump on the Packers here for a small play. If this thing were to climb a little bit further, if for some strange reason just a ton of Packers money starts flowing in here, it is an island game on Monday. So if that were the case and this thing got like back up over 4.5, then you might could see me kind of jump on the Lions in that situation. I really do think, though, that at the end of the day, I think the Packers play well here at home, even without Devontae Adams. Just this hook is what's bothering me here. I was kind of hoping this thing would just continue to plummet. I know a lot of people, this is kind of a trendy play here, this Lions team heading on the road to take on this Packers team. But I'm going to hold out and see if this thing can get to 3, see if more people pile on this Lions team here. And if that's the case, I think we could see even over here at DraftKings, you can see, it's juiced at 3.5 here. So, there is a chance that this thing could actually move to 3 here. So if that were the case, I'll go ahead and take the Packers. If this thing were to get back up over 4.5, I would dig in a little bit further, maybe see if it was something on the Lions here. But my initial lean certainly is to the Packers in this situation at home where they play much, much better. Aaron Rodgers going up against this team that is giving up just a ton of yards, giving up over 400 yards a game. And I think this Packers offense is very capable of doing that in a row and doing that here against this team as well. Look, this Lions team is they've given up 7 sacks in 4 games already. The Packers have 15 sacks on the year. So, you're looking at a team that's given up, a few sacks here, but not really a ton of sacks, facing a team that is a sacking team. So, I think that can affect how this Lions team plays as well. Whenever you look at all the pressure that Matthew Stafford is likely to be under here by this Packers defensive line fronts here. So, picked off Dak Prescott 3 times last week as well. Like I said, Matthew Stafford's been taking care of the ball pretty well, but another reason I kind of lean towards the Packers in this thing as well. But really my play is going to be on the over 45 here. Now that this thing has dipped all the way down to 45, these guys they're going to put up points here. The Packers are going to score on this Lions defense has given up a ton of yards and given up a pretty good amount of points to every team that they've played so far this year as well, especially the ones with a pulse. And I don't expect this Packers defense to really just completely shut down the Lions either. And again, especially if they go ahead and attack them on the ground here and utilize the weak spot in this Packers defense. I think they move the ball and I think they score here. 45 is kind of a middling total, certainly not high at all. And we've seen this thing fall. I'm going to go against the trend here and take the over as opposed to the under. And I feel pretty confident about it now that it's fallen all the way to 45. Guys, again, probably the biggest bet though will probably be on the props, to be honest with you. I think that the over on the Aaron Jones receiving yards is something I'm feeling really good about. Head over to the Lions.com. As always, everything over here is free, completely free. We have got a nice little odds feed as well. You can see this is just a preview of it, but you can toggle between New Jersey and Pennsylvania, money line totals, and all that stuff like that at the different books. So be sure and take advantage of that. And then if you want to head to Play Picks, everything's over there is free as well. And if you go to this little link up here, /bonus, it's all the sportsbook and DFS offers and stuff like that. So be sure to take advantage of that if you're going to play at any of these places because you get free money and free bets. And so, you might as well take advantage of these promos at these sportsbooks sportsbooks are trying to earn your business here. So, I mean, $50 free, $25 free, risk-free bets and all the stuff like that. So be sure and utilize those things as well. And that's just playpicks.com/bonus. Please subscribe to the page, guys. Like the video and hit us up in the comments. Let us know how you're going to play this game. Hopefully you got some information here that helps you go one way or the other with this thing. And good luck tonight. Appreciate it.